May end up at central office. Let me make sure it's going. Okay, it's going. Dr. Revis and I, first of all, I hope everybody is doing well and you're staying safe. I think you can see my wife. I have to wear this all the time, and my wife has got me where if I go anywhere, this is how I have to. I have to prove to her that I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. So I keep this with me all the time. She made this for me. So, but anyway, I hope you're remaining safe and doing what you're supposed to do. Um, this tonight is very informal. Dr. Revis and I are here to basically answer any questions that you may have at this point. And we mainly want to keep our focus on, on the APTEL and completing this class. And then we will begin addressing things about future classes next week. Dr. Lamb's going to join us next Tuesday, and part of the time he will be sharing with you things that you can do to begin working towards work for your 603 class in the summer, because it is a quick turnaround time. But you don't have to, you can unmute yourself, you can ask a question, and Dr. Revis and I will both give you whatever the answers are that you need so that you can get clarity with anything that you might be working with. So anybody.
There was a question in our Zoom group, so I just want to kind of clarify that. When is the final competency folio due? Like all 21 competencies due in?
By the end of this semester. So by
the end of the semester.
By week 16, we should see everything for this semester into Dr. Revis and or me by week 16.
Okay, is there anything on the competency folio that had to be in by this coming Sunday?
No.
Okay, I'm not sure where that came from, but okay, thank you.
Okay, no, the competency folio, you will, you may see things because we kind of gauge things along the way, and but as long as we've got it by the end of the semester, we're okay. But you should be okay now, Carrie, because you can go at it now since you've turned the other.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I just wanted to clarify that for one of our group members that had a question.
Yeah, and I will tell you, I did get a question from somebody today, and just a reminder, in TaskStream, again, Dr. Lamb has beat this horse to death, but he's gone over multiple times how to set up your folio, how to work. And last week he did it again, and I put it under week 12. So, and I sent the video to you, so you've got all that to show you. In fact, you've got it multiple times. But you must complete artifacts for all 21 competencies this semester. When you're in 603, guess what? You get to do it all over again with 21 brand new competencies. And when you get into 605, you get to do it one more time for 21 more competencies, for a total of 63 competencies, 3 for each one. And remember, we've given you the information to show that they need to come from certain evidences. There needs to be open-ended. And remember, you've got to have so many, 18 of them have to be digital. So you need to, take all of that in consideration. The competency folio is very, very important. And somebody from North Carolina asked the question. They said, do we have to take the praxis? Not in North Carolina. You don't have to take the praxis, but guess what? Guess what? This competency folio and your 6 evidences that you complete, along with the competency analysis and the School of Ed dispositions that the state requires, all of that goes directly to DPI. Now, whether you're in South Carolina or North Carolina, it goes to DPI. And this is what DPI will use. The word that you turn in Blackboard, that's for Dr. Revis and me. That's for Gardner Webb. DPI is going to look at your task stream work and your task stream account. That's attached to DPI. Now, those of you in South Carolina, you have to get certified in North Carolina first because this is a North Carolina program. South Carolina reciprocates certification. However, South Carolina requires you to take the praxis. And we've given you some information that's in your Blackboard at the very bottom in Blackboard that shows you the process for completing what you have to do in South Carolina. We've never had a student in South Carolina to not successfully pass the test. In fact, most of them take it their second semester, and they'll tell us that everything that they learned in 601 prepared them for that test. So I hope, that helps.
Sorry.
Do what?
I wasn't trying. I didn't mean to interrupt.
That's okay.
For our clinical internship log, so I copy and pasted it into a different document so that I could, are there any specifications there? Is that fine that I did that?
Yeah, no, your internship log, you can put it on a digital log. You just remember it has to be signed by your administrator and dated, for this semester, and it must show a minimum of 80 hours on that.
Okay.
And remember, there's on the form that we gave you, it shows where you have to put evidence and proof. That's for you only. We don't need that. Dr. Revis and I, we don't need that. We only need the date, the activity, and how much time you spent on it.
Okay, so we don't need to do the competency or the proof when we turn it in.
No, that's for you. That's kind of like a way to you to keep up.
Keep up with our competencies.
What you're doing, yeah.
For the activity, I mean, I can kind of show you. It's really messy because this was just on my clipboard.
Okay.
So judgment free zone here. The descriptions. I mean, is that fine? Like fire drill, cafeteria duty.
Yes.
It doesn't need to be
You don't have
detailed.
you don't have to put a lot of dialogue there, as you know.
Okay.
We just want to see the activity, the date, and your principal is proving when they sign it that you have been involved and that you've in that process, and that that they're validating it.
Okay.
So when they sign it, we're just scanning it in, I guess, and uploading it back into TaskStream?
And remember, you don't send it for evaluation. You just send it to Dr. Revis and me for review and comment.
Okay, so I'm trying to figure out with everything now what's going to be the easiest way to get signatures and stuff, because obviously some of us are not face to face. Like I haven't seen my principal.
Well, you can email the document and ask them to sign it and to scan it and send it back to you.
Okay, that's what I was kind of thinking. I didn't know if we needed to do all of that, or if an email verification would work, or what.
I would do it that way. I would have the official signature, because remember, this is going to go to DPI.
Okay,
and that's why you want it to look professional. And Amy, I know you're going to clean that up, but remember, you want it to look professional, because remember, all of this will be submitted to DPI at the end of this program.
So can I take out the 2 columns that say competency and proof for the one that we're going to turn in?
Yes, you can.
Okay. Instead, I didn't want to just leave them blank, so I could just take them out. Okay.
Leave them out. And then if you decide you want to put it in there, it's not going to hurt. We don't care. We don't need that, but you can leave it there if you want to.
Okay.
And if I could just interject something, I have had students kind of getting a little bit of trouble because they didn't get their administrator to sign off on it by semester, and then their administrator transferred schools, retired, whatever, and then they had to go tracking down and trying to figure something out. So yes, do it each semester.
Right. And go ahead, and once you get it over with, then you don't have to go back and backtrack and worry about things, So
Thank
whatever you need to do for 601, when week 16 is over with, you want a clean slate. You want to be able to move on to 603 and not have to deal with anything with 601 anymore.
Dr. Stedman, I do think that in our week by week, we've got down there that all those 21 competencies are due with artifacts by the end of this week.
Okay,
but
they aren't. They aren't, and that probably
Okay.
should have been taken out. I didn't catch it.
Okay,
Well,
I just think that's
well,
probably where it's.
no, I know why that is in there, Dr. Revis. It's so that we can say what we're saying right now and let them know that, you know, it causes people to go ahead and to get started on things. So it was there by design. But we reserve the rights to say that you've got 2 more weeks on it or 3 more weeks on it.
There you go.
Okay, other questions? Other questions? Let me see who has joined us. Okay.
Dr. Stedman, this is Diane Barton.
Hey, Diane.
Hey, I have a question.
Sure.
On the, when you look on Blackboard, it says screenshots, email news, clinical coach, and instructor. Is that after we get the grade back from TaskStream,
Yeah,
or
you
is it
did,
something else?
Diane, you did that for the APSL. When you when you got your grade back, and I think you got a 4 on that.
Yes.
When you sent it back, you sent a screenshot in on that, and that's proof to Dr. Revis and or me, whoever it would be to me. That's my proof that you are completely through with that evidence.
Okay. I have one more question.
Sure.
So in TaskStream, it says something about 8 competencies. Do we need to fill that in? Let me look for the correct wording of what it says.
Diane, I love your accent.
Oh, thank you. It's Jamaican.
I thought so.
It says certification of
But I wasn't sure. I was like, oh, wow.
Do we fill that in as well?
Say
Just
that
below
again.
the APTEL, it says competency analysis.
Yes, okay, the competency analysis. Remember at the beginning of the semester, Dr. Lamb, and it's a lot to remember, Dr. Lamb said, do not do that. He said you could do the School of Ed disposition, you could go ahead and do that.
Oh, okay.
But
Gotcha.
the competency analysis, you can do it now, but you had to have completed all of the competencies for both the APSL and the APTEL before you can do that. Now, once you have completed the competencies for the APSL and the APTEL, it should be easy because you've met the competencies. You just simply go in there and they're bullets. You either you say, I have met or I have not met. You just fill in the bullet, and you better say I've met because you've done it all.
Okay,
Just
I
say
will.
that, and
But I'm just waiting for my grade.
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
And when you submit that, it goes directly to TaskStream. And if you are in my classes, Dr. Revis will check off on that. And if you're in Dr. Revis's class, I will check off on that for you.
All right, thank you, Dr. Stedman.
You are welcome. And Diane submitted her work to TaskStream today as well.
I did.
Carrie did, Diane did, Amy did, and I've got some more that are on the verge. Other questions? I will say, Dr. Revis, I have been very, very pleased with the work ethic the last few days. I have seen a lot of just good quality work coming in. And for many of you, I can almost find the defining moment when, for you, the light bulb came on and you realized what we talked about at the beginning of this semester when we said that you would have to take that teacher hat off and you would have to put that principal hat on. The narrative work that you're providing and think is evident that you're making that transition. And I told you it would happen.
I agree, Dr. Stedman. Not only is the quality of work at a higher level, but the case study videos that I watched last week, they were just really awesome. They have turned the corner. Our students understand now how and what a scholarly discussion looks like and sounds like. I was just very, very pleased with what I got back on the case study video, and as well as the peer reviews. Those have gotten much more in depth. So yes, I would say that our students now have figured things out as far as the new schedule that everybody had to adapt to 3 weeks ago, and everybody's world got turned upside down. And I think for some of us, most of us, that first week we were just all scrambling, and it's understandably so. But I think I've seen things settle back down, because the quality of work that I've gotten from my students, at least, has been of high caliber this past.
Right. And mine likewise. And when I've sent work back, I've gotten a quick turnaround, and they understood it, and they fixed it and repaired whatever it was in a very timely manner. So very, very pleased.
All right, I do have one question.
Okay, who is this now?
Frank,
Hey, Frank.
how are you?
Doing well.
Good. Mine is based on the competencies in task stream. Each one says APSL, APTEL, SIOP, or open-ended. Does that mean that we need, like for communication, we need one of each instead of like 2 evidences from the APSL and 1 open-ended, or?
No. For this semester, you will not have done the SIAP. So the
Right.
SIAP. So for this semester, you will find what you need from the APSL, and remember the document that Dr. Lamb shared with you, where it shows it actually lists where you can the competencies that would meet that particular, and
Yes.
where you can go and find them. That's an example, but you've got lots of opportunities, just like with the communication. Just simply sending that email to your principal asking permission to conduct the PLC at the very beginning of the semester. That is evidence. That's an artifact. That serves as, and then 2 or 3 sentences, a couple of sentences, just explaining what that is, and you will have met that. To me, that is a basic level artifact. And then next semester, when you get into 603, you've still got to do communication. I would think that you would want to step it up a notch. You wouldn't want to have something that basic, but you'll have an opportunity to look for communication in a different way next semester. And then by the time you get to 605, then you will, it should be more advanced, and then you're at the SOP at that time. You should be able to find it in the SOP. But you only do, and remember, 18 of those have to be digital. You have to prove that they're digital competencies, which that would be one, because you send it electronically.
Right.
So that's a digital competency. And remember that you have to have, so many of them have to be open-ended. One of them, out of the 21, one of the 3 has to be open-ended at some point.
All right, thank you.
And what I would do, Frank, I would do like the example that we gave you from the student that had done the work. I would actually write up there open-ended. I would write digital, and I would highlight that in a different color to prove, that you've done that. Make it easy for yourself, and make it very easy for, if it's Dr. Revis or me looking at it, that we can see it easily. And if we can see it easily, if yours happens to be one of the ones that goes to DPI, or when it goes to DPI, if yours is one of the ones that is randomly chosen to be audited, they will have no problems seeing what they need to see.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome, Frank. Okay, other questions? Those are good questions.
want to throw this out there, Dr.
Hey,
Steckman.
Alan.
Hey, how are you tonight?
Doing well.
Great. So, we may have the corona at our house. I don't know.
No, we hope not. We pray
Oh,
not.
it's a whole story. So listen, I did work on my artifacts and task stream today, and I did get a little bit confused. So I think Frank's question was on point, because I see on your on the competency at folio evidence proofs from the 6 evidence artifacts, the competencies not like number 1, 3, 6, 12, 20, how that would all go under, task 1, and then for task 2 and task 3. Again, it's kind of like this cross-linear thing where I get a little confused. So obviously I am, I've suggested, I've asked for comments, and I certainly, don't mind, how it is for me. I just tell it to me what I got to do. So anyway, I don't know if I'm speaking for everybody, but the folio isn't confusing, but it does lend a little bit of confusion, because like it says, some things, some of them have an aptel, some of them have an apsel, and I'm thinking, okay, well, I pretty much anything that I put in from my apsel, I'll go back and put that in there. But and artifacts are, not hard to find, but I've got to make sure.
Let me make it easier for you, Alan. Those are just places that have been identified that you can find them. As long as you have completed it in any of your work that you've done, or if you have done it as a part of your internship that you're doing, then they can count.
Okay, that was kind of where I was going, because I thought we
don't have to, you don't have to say that, well, this came from the apsel. Don't get bogged down in that. Those are just places that have been identified where you can go find stuff.
So like question, and here's where I'm going with that. So on my conflict management thing, where I brought it from a discipline hearing where I was working with one of my APs, what I've written in my apsel and what I put down as my evidence, because I've got the actual artifact from a different discipline case. Is that okay?
Yes, absolutely. Okay. Yes. Okay,
great. Yes. That's fine, because I didn't want to step out of line, and
No, you're not. But Alan, I've learned you're going to overthink it, and then you're going to come back and you're going to reel yourself in most of the time.
Duly noted. Guilty as charged. Thank you so much.
But that's good, Alan. Those are good questions. You take care of your family, though. Dr. Revis?
Say that I have seen students, in my experience, the hardest artifacts to come up with are sometimes those from your open-ended or internship. I think it's because it's just a little bit more difficult for us to find a really solid artifact that demonstrates what we're trying to show. So that can be a little tricky.
Dr. Revis,
go ahead, Alan.
I got to agree with you on that, because that's my next thing is sometimes I just think about it like I'm more of a doer and I just go and do. And not that I don't think the paperwork's important, because I do, and I think we all do, but we get so lit up into let's just go do and we'll deal with that later. And then there's really nothing to deal with later, sort of thing. So anyway.
And go back and Alan, a lot of times you can go back and rethink some things that you've done and go back and recreate it because you have done it. So, you think about it and you you've done it. It's okay to go back and pinpoint when you did it and recreate that event as a part of your artifact. Because sometimes you're in the moment of things, you don't think about, I need to write this thing down, or whatever. So that's okay.
Well, and I went back, and the list that you shared at the beginning of all this, that Dr. Lamb made about things we could do and count towards our internship stuff, that is a huge helpful list. And I think, speaking for everybody, we thank you guys for that.
Good. You're welcome, Alan. Okay. Other questions? You have our full undivided attention right now. Anybody?
So I was trying to figure out how to unmute myself on my phone. I had to switch.
Okay.
I'm getting real good at leaving my computer charger at school. It's a theoretical question. If, because I know next semester we'll have even less guidance on the evidence. If it comes down to it, I know with the APSL, there were a few discrepancies between the example that was given and the manual. And we went by the example. Do we still go based on what we did there, or do we go strictly based on the manual?
When you say the manual, you're talking about the helpful template, the helpful,
The APA manual.
the APA manual.
Yep.
APA is very, very important, and you have to use it. Now, the main thing is, and Dr. Revis, chime in, Dr. Revis, but remember the main thing with APA, I think you've done your headings, your in-text referencing, the capitalization,
Capitals.
those things.
Yeah.
Those are the biggies.
Okay.
With your listing it as a figure and making sure that that's in there. But now, this is not a dissertation. If it was a dissertation, or if it was a formal thesis, then yes, we would have to measure lines. We'd have to do all that. All of that is important, and we want you to stay focused with that. But I'm not going to stop what I'm doing to measure to see if it's indented. I'm going to look to see that it's indented properly, but I'm not going to measure. So those kinds of things, you don't have to I don't want you to bog yourself down with that. I want you to understand the process and understand the evidence that you're working on more than that. With that in mind, the things that we have stressed over and over and over and over again this semester, keep those in the forefront, because anybody is going to look to make sure that at least those things are done. But I think that you'll be okay with what you've done this semester. You will be okay in your following semesters if you understand what we've expected of you this semester.
Okay, so followed by the final narratives that we've done for the APSL and the APTL.
Yes.
Okay. All
So
right. Just wanted to double check.
If you got approval from Dr. Revison and or me that everything was fine to go to task stream for the APSL or the APTEL, if you follow those examples from this point on, you're going to be fine.
Okay.
Does that answer
Thank
your
you.
question?
It does.
Okay,
Yeah.
good.
Thank you.
That was a good question, though. Somebody else?
Hello, can you hear me?
I can, Frasquita. How you doing?
Okay, fine. For the presentation for task 3.
Yes.
Okay.
You're cutting out,
Email
Frasquita.
it. I was trying to do a Zoom meeting. Can I email the survey, the results to my PLC team, or because I was trying to schedule a Zoom meeting, but that's
okay. You can send the results.
That's not happening right now with everybody in this schedule.
Send the results to them, and that the only one that you really need to communicate with is as long as you have presented to your administration. That's the only, as long as you've done that, that's the only requirement that we are asking, that you prove that you've presented something to them. And that, you can send that, try to set up a Zoom meeting, but if you can't, email it, talk to them on the phone, do a conference call with it.
Okay. Yes, I have communication with my principal. I just don't have good communication with the PLC team.
Well,
right now.
At this point, that is not a requirement. If you can, that's fine. And you can say in your narrative work that, that can be part of your disclaimer, that you're not able to communicate with all of them, and that you, as a line of communication, that you emailed all of the results to them and asked them to respond back if they had any questions or concerns. Does that help?
Okay, it does.
Okay, thank you. Now, Frasquita takes her puppy to the to a puppy place every day, just about. Don't you, Fresquita? That's all right. Mine probably needs to go. So she thinks I'm supposed to take her out 50 times a day when I'm at home. Other questions?
Dr. Stedman, if I may just say something,
Sure.
I know there's a lot of anxiety about next semester. And, you know, we've given you some helpful hints and a sample on the APTEL. But guys, just take this rubric and break it down just like you do your state standards. Think about when you first saw your state standards and how you had to unpack those standards.
Right.
That's the same thing you will do throughout each of these 4 remaining tasks. Is you unpack it, break it down, and you're going to be fine because you're very accustomed to doing that kind of thing anyway.
Right. That's good advice, Dr. Evans. Now, one of the things that you won't get a template.
Mm-mm.
You won't get a template like you've gotten for these. You'll have to take exactly what is in the guidelines. But take the templates that we've given you, and take the information that you have in your MELS handbook for the evidence that you've got to do, and make your own template, and just make sure that everything is in that you can come up with your own. I mean, you're supposed to be able to do that now. So you've got everything you need to be able to move to that next level. Now, you're not going to be completely left. You're going to have an instructor, and you will have a clinical coach too. So what I would advise you, you've not had to do it as much this time because we have stayed with you so closely. But whoever your clinical coach too is next semester, take advantage of that person. Send them work for them to look at and say, am I on the right track? Give me advice. Go to that clinical coach shell and submit work on a regular basis before it ever goes to, take advantage of that. So, that's, we can't, Dr. Revis and I teach, but we also are clinical coach too. We can't respond to anything if we don't get it. So, take advantage of that. You've paid for it. Your money is paying for that person's salary. And if you don't submit work to them, guess what? They get money that semester for free because you didn't send them any work for them to work with. So take advantage of it. Let them earn the money that you're paying out to Gardner Webb. That includes Dr. Revis and me if we are those people. I think I've earned my money, Dr. Revis, this semester.
Well, I have too, but sometimes I am a little slow. And Dr. Stedman said, put your little sticky note on your computer to say, check your internship shell. But I've got a couple from your class, Dr. Stedman, who have routinely used me. And they have learned to email me and let me know that it's in my internship shell.
And that's good. We've told them to do that. If they don't hear from us, let us know. Because
it's not, yeah.
We wear a lot of hats, so,
Yeah. And I don't naturally think to go there. So, and I'm a little slow.
It's okay to remind us. We don't care.
Yeah.
We don't care. Okay. Other questions? All of the questions have been very, very good. Anybody else? Because I don't want to hold you if, but we want to help you if you need help. So everybody knows how to, at this point, we've got a handful, Dr. Revis, a handful that's still clearing up 2 and 3, a handful. But for the most part, 3 has been cleared, and people are are now, I'm getting task 4 and I'm telling them what, once they do that, to go ahead and put it together for my review with task 1 through 4 for one document. So, most of you are at that point. So you're at a good place. And that means that as you are completing the APTEL, we've still got some time left and we'll be coming online and we'll be doing something, but this gives you a golden opportunity to go ahead and get that task stream work, your competency folio and those other things, completed without having to feel rushed or whatever, since you are, where you are with the APTEL. I'm very pleased with the progress that people are making.
One more question.
Sure.
Sorry. So I finished up my 80 hours, but I continue to keep up with things. At what point can I start recording those towards next semester?
You can't.
Okay, so it would have to wait until
Right.
June.
Right.
Okay.
And that is DPI looks at, they look at dates, and you have to do 80 hours each semester. That is a requirement by the state.
Okay. So at what point do I
but you'll
stop
get it
recording
with
them
no
for this
problem.
semester? Do what?
You'll get them with no problem each semester. Don't worry about that.
Okay. At what point can I stop recording them for this semester so that I can go ahead and submit
If
it?
you've got your 80 hours, you can stop anytime.
Okay. Alrighty, that was it.
Okay. Other questions? Okay. Well, Dr. Revis, you have anything else that you feel like that we need to say?
I don't think so. Just
I think
keep,
I thank you for
keep
coming
going on.
online and and spending this afternoon with us. And we're still available if you need us. Call us, send us an email. I look forward to seeing the completed work coming in. We'll come online next Tuesday, and again we'll be wrapping things up, but we will share some new things with you as well. And again, Dr. Lamb is going to join us, and he's going to be introducing some things to you to help you get going with or get started with your 603 class, those that want to go ahead and get started with it, to give you some insight into that.
Yes, and for my class, as soon as you turn in your task 3, go ahead and start working on task 4. Any spare minutes you have in between turning things in and getting my feedback, get on to task 4 so we can get that over with.
As a reminder, one of the students had an issue with an evaluator today, and it was just, I guess, them not fully knowing. I don't know what the issue was. I've cleared it up. But remember, we told you you had to do 12 competencies for the APSO, and you only had to do 9 for the APTEL. If you do more than 9, it's okay. And I've had 2 or 3 students that did do more than 9, but you have to do at least the 9 that you didn't do for the APSO. If you get a call back, if it goes to task stream and you get a call back and the comment is that you didn't do 12 competencies for the APSO, you let Dr. Revis or you let me know, and we'll take care of that, because you've been told you only had to do the 9 that you did not complete for the APSO. And we have 2 programs. We have the full 5-semester program, and we have the add-on program. And sometimes people may not realize which program they're working with. Sometimes they should, but if that becomes an issue, you let us know, and we will resolve that issue for you. Okay? Don't do anything if that is the case. If you get a call back, if you would get a call back, you probably need to communicate with Dr. Revis and me anyway, so that we can tell you what you need to do to help fix it. Okay? I took care of that today, Dr. Revis. I had an issue with one of my students, but I took care of that. It was sent back because they said they had not completed 12 competencies for task 4. And they don't have to do 12 competencies.
And as evaluator, I can see the confusion. It's hard to keep up with whether you're in the standard or, you know, 3 semesters. So, but just know that that's what your issue is, to let one of us know, and we'll take care of it.
Right, and we will help you with that. Okay.
Mhm.
Well, if you don't have any more questions, then we're not going to hold you until 8 o'clock. We're going to let you go. But if you need us, just know that you can reach out to us. And again, all of these questions have been excellent questions today, and we really appreciate you joining us and being a part of this evening. Okay. Well, good night, everybody.
Good night.